all praises be unto the Most High Almighty, Ahaya Shahaya Christ, our Lord and our Savior, and the Father who raised him, wisdom who brought the anointing. This is the Essene Community Church of Christ. My name is Archbishop Shamar.
I'm Bishop Barak.
And we be bringing forth today's Sabbath report/lesson. All right. Next week we're going to finish up we just have a little of the virgin birth to finish up, and the law of nature birth, virgin birth. We went through a great deal of that. Just wanted to bring something fresh and go through a different, topic. We've been hitting the health, so this is our second health anatomy lesson. All right, last week we went into the digestive system. All right, and we got a great look at how the digestive system was. And this week we're going to be following that with the metabolic system. All right, so we're going to see what they say metabolism. All right, and how that coincides with the scriptures, going back as we always do to the beginning with Adam. All right, as we're in an important time now, it's time to understand how the body functions. As we're seeing right now that people are getting hit with all type of things, vaccine requests, and they don't really understand the functions of their body. All right, they don't understand exactly what's going on. If we don't understand what our body does and the functions of it, how can we protect it against the enemy when he's coming to destroy us? All right, knowing that as we look into the scriptures, the Most High has programmed our body with its own immunity, its own weapons to fight against all things outside of it. All right, the only entrance through there is through our ignorance. All right, we're gonna go to Isaiah 53, verse 1.
The book of the prophet Isaiah, chapter 53, verse 1. Who hath believed our report, and to whom is the arm of the Lord revealed?
All right, so we always go to the scripture starting it off, because even in Isaiah's time, all right, who was going to believe the report? All right, as we always say, how the Most High reveals things. He doesn't come out and put his arm around Isaiah and say, I'm dealing with Isaiah. All right, it happens behind closed doors. He reveals, the word of the Lord comes onto Isaiah, reveals what's been revealed unto him from the Father, all right, the grandfather, all right. And now the prophet is sent out to declare, thus saith the Most High. It's up to the people to understand and discern this. So this always led the question, who's going to believe the report? Who's going to believe? And who actually is the one that the Most High is being revealed to? Who's the power of the Most High being revealed to? So once again, who's going to believe this report? Because there's many reports on diet, how the body could operate, how it could run. And we have a report, all right? And who's going to believe our report? All right, and the power of the Most High. The arm of the Most High is revealed. All right, so we're going to go to Revelations 18 and 23. Once again, this is the anatomy of the body, the metabolic system, all right, metabolism.
The book of Revelation, chapter 18, verse 23. And the light of a candle shall shine no more at all in thee, and the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee. For thy merchants were the great men of the earth, for by thy sorceries were all nations deceived.
All right, so by the sorceries were all nations deceived. And I've been saying we're going to have to go and do a lesson on Babylon, all right, and who this is that this stuff is coming from, who controls the doctrine of the earth, all right. Many people will say it's America, all right. I'm here to let you know it's the Catholic Church, all right. This is who controls things. This is who controls the gates in the earth. And I'm really coming with a full lesson on that, all right. But through them, all right, the scriptures, the scribes, all of these things are attached to them, all right. Even medication, all of these things, as the scriptures is telling us, all right, because we are the Essene Community Church of Christ, all right. We deal a lot with the laws of nature, all right, and we deal with that because we came into Christ, and Christ's teachings and stuff deal with that. We have a church that, was started off. This is where the apostles and disciples started off, and they're not teaching that, all right. So if they're not teaching that, this leads into all the deception to creep in, because there should be a clear, as he says, the light's supposed to be up where people could see it. We're not seeing law and nature coming from there. We're not seeing understanding on the body come from there. We're not seeing anatomy lessons come out of the church. All right, so this is where the deception come from, because the light should be from somewhere. All right, and this is why the Most High has put us in place to bring that light. All right, so we're going to go into the sorceries. All right, we're going to go into what is sorcery.
The definition for sorcery, this is Greek word G5331, G5331, pharmakia, from G5332, medication, pharmacy, that is, by extension, magic, literal or figurative, sorcery, witchcraft. And the third definition here is the use or the administering of drugs. The second definition, poisoning. The third, sorcery, magical arts, often found in connection with idolatry and fostered by it. And the fourth, metaphorically, the deceptions and seductions of idolatry. And parts of speech, it's a noun, feminine. A related word by Thayer strong number from G5332.
All right, so it is witchcraft, all right, magic, as they would say. It's sorcery, it's witchcraft, it's poisoning, it's the use of administering drugs, all right. It's magical arts, it's deceptions and seductions. Why? Because people use it to deceive people, all right. As people have heard many times before that, someone could, put a potion on someone, a love potion, or this thing, all right. Things that make deceive the individual and they don't know, putting it into their food, different various ways.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 14, verse 13. Let us not therefore judge one another anymore, but judge this rather, that no man put a stumbling block or an occasion to fall in his brother's way. This is a definition for stumbling block. It's Greek word G4348, G4348. Proskoma, from 4350, a stub, i.e. figuratively, occasion of apostasy, offense, stumbling, stumbling block, stumbling stone. Stumbling stone. You want to keep going now? Stumbling block, stumbling offense. A stumbling block, an obstacle in the way which if one strikes his foot against, he stumbles or falls, and B, that over which a soul stumbles, i.e. by which is caused to sin.
All right, so that over which a soul stumbles, by which is caused to sin. And I'm here to let you know that what's being said in Revelations 18:23 is that, all right, Babylon here is putting stumbling blocks, all right, through the sorceries, which causes people to sin, which causes people to fall into deception, which all has to come from where? The food, all right? And this is what they were telling, especially to Christians, all right? We don't judge people, but there's one thing a Christian might do, all right? He might try to make somebody stumble, all right? And keep them blind, all right? When people are blind, meaning they don't understand something, you're supposed to lead them into the right way, all right? You see a blind man outside, you're not gonna throw something in his way and expect him to, dodge out of that. All right, you're gonna be, hey, you need help? Guide them to the right place. All right, putting a stumbling block means a person's blind, they don't know what's going on, and you're like, you know what? Since they don't know what's going on, throw this in there, throw that in there, and they're gonna stumble because they can't see. All right, this is what's being done. All right, with the food, with the diet, with everything that's going on. All right, this is what's being mentioned in the scriptures. We're gonna go to Sirach 38:1.
It's the book of Ecclesiastes, also known as Sirach, chapter 38, verse 1 out of the Apocrypha. Honor a physician with the honor due unto him for the uses which he may have of him, for the Lord hath created him. For of the Most High cometh healing, and he shall receive honor of the king. The skill of the physician shall lift up his head, and in the sight of great men he shall be in admiration. The Lord had created medicines out of the earth, and he that is wise will not abhor them.
All right, so honor the physician with honor due unto him. All right, for the Most High created them. All right, we're gonna see what physician is this. All right, the Most High, from the Most High cometh healing. All right, and they shall receive honor of a king. And it goes into the Most High created the medicines out of the earth. This is what the physician is going to be dealing with. All right, we're going to go into the definition of physician.
All right, this is the etymology for physician, which is a noun from the 1200s. Physician, later physician, quote, healer, one who practices the art of healing disease and of preserving health. Doctor of medicine, unquote, as distinguished from a surgeon. From Old French, physicien, quote, physician, doctor, sage, unquote. 12th century modern French, physicien mean physicist. From physique, quote, art of healing, unquote. From Latin physia, which, quote, natural science, see physic. The restored classic ph spell is attested in English from late 14th century, see ph. Related physiency, physiently, and physientship.
All right. So from Latin, physia, natural science. All right. A healer who practiced the art of healing disease and of preserving your health. All right. Doctor of medicine. All right. All a physician is, he knows the mechanics of the body. All right. To be able to tell you how it operates and what you can do so it has its best performance. All right. And when there's a problem, what you don't know to fix that. All right. And the biggest thing attached to it is that they deal with natural science. All right. Clearly, we see in Revelations 18 that they're dealing with what? Magic. All right. Potions, different type of things. All right. Unnatural things that we see is creeping in the foods. All right. So once again, we're going to go back to the beginning, to the book of Adam and Eve. We're going to go back to where this all starts. All right. To where we begin to get these digestive systems, as we explained last week. All right. When Adam was given that, we're going to go revisit it again, because this is where everything takes place. All right. The sin, the food, all of that is explained in the books of Eden. All right. In the first book of Adam and Eve. All right. So we're going to go to the book of Adam and Eve.
64.
We're at chapter 64.
This is the first book of Adam and Eve, chapter 64. Adam and Eve partake of the first earthly food. Verse 1. Then God looked at Adam and at his strength of mind, at his endurance of hunger and thirst, and of the heat. And he changed the first two fig trees into 2 figs, as they were at first, and then said to Adam and to Eve, each of you may take 1 fig. And they took them as the Lord commanded them. And he said to them, you must now go into the cave and eat the figs and satisfy your hunger, or else you will die. So, as God commanded them, they went into the cave about sunset, and Adam and Eve stood up and prayed during the setting sun. Then they sat down to eat the figs, but they knew not how to eat them, for they were not accustomed to eat earthly food. They were afraid that if they ate, their stomach would be burdened and their flesh thickened, and their hearts would take to liking earthly food.
All right. So we see here, all right, Adam, when he fell from his sin, all right, when he fell from his sin, when he fell from his holy state, all right, the Most High was still looking at his strength of mind, his endurance for hunger, and his thirst. All right, his endurance for hunger, thirst, and heat. Because he was fasting a long time before he began to eat his first meal, which we can't do that. All right, I believe it was 83 days. All right, this is the 83rd day this is taking place. All right, so he fasted a long time before the Most High was like, yo, you can't go forever. You need to eat. He brought him a fig. All right, they sat down, but they didn't know how to eat it. This lets us know, as we were explaining last week, that they weren't eating physical food in the garden. That food in the garden is a different type of way you take it in. All right, it's eating. Your plant eats. All right, don't eat like you. Don't eat like us. All right, but it eats. All right. So when we see these things, we're thinking always the way we are. All right. Even with children, we know that when the children's in the stomach of a child, of the mother, it eats a different way. Right. It gets its food a different way, but it's eating. And when it comes out, now it's eating a different way through the mouth and stuff. All right. But there's different ways that one can eat, and different beings eat, not just only through the stomach and things of that nature, and digestion. All right, plants eat through what they call photosynthesis and taking things from the soil. All All right, so they ate a different way. That's what it lets us know. All right, and this new way of eating, they had to eat physical food to get what they needed. All right, and Adam, knowing this, he was afraid. So Adam, once again, we're showing he had foreknowledge. All right, he was afraid because they knew that their stomach would be burdened and their flesh thickened. All right, we went into burdened stomach. All right, and we equate that to too much energy used on digestion. All right, burdening his stomach with the food and things that was going on now. Because now that the stomach has a load, which we went into last week, all right, the body has to do something with that load. And that's where the digestive system was created, right, with the 7 parts of the stomach and the 3 for the exiting, all right, for the fecal matter. All right, and then he was afraid as well of his skin getting thick, all right, which we equated with getting fat. So he understood that eating a new way now took on a new challenge that mankind hasn't seen yet. Adam is the first one taking this on, and he has foreknowledge of this, and he doesn't want to eat because he understands. So this lets us know Adam had foreknowledge, and when the Most High told him not to do something, Adam already knew what could have been come of that. All right, there's no excuse. So we can be like, Adam didn't know. Adam knowing, because when we're looking at Adam's detail, he's not touching stuff because he knows beforehand, and he already came across this yet. All right, so we're gonna go and continue. All right, we're gonna go to chapter 65.
Once again, excuse me, continuing in the book of Adam and Eve, the first book of Adam and Eve, the next chapter, which is chapter 65, Adam and Eve acquired digestive organs. Final hope of returning to the garden is lost. Verse 1, and when it was day, they got up and prayed after their custom and went out of the cave. But they became sick from the food they had eaten because they were not used to it. So they went about in the cave saying to each other, what was our eating caused to happen to us, that we should be in such pain? We are in misery, we shall die. It would have been better for us to have died keeping our bodies pure than to have eaten and defiled them with food.
All right, so here we see that they got up, all right, and this is in the daytime, all right, and they prayed, all right, and they became sick. And I equated this last week with that. This is what happens because this is their first time. Usually people have to use the bathroom when they wake up in the morning, all right, and I equate that to go camping, all right. You'll see when people have to use the bathroom, all right. Everyone gonna wake up in the morning and they're gonna be running to that bathroom, right? Everyone, they gotta go unload the load, all right. So this needs to happen, but Adam didn't have nothing for the stomach to do that. So what's gonna happen? His stomach ache. His belly is just hurting him now, all right. So the Most High knows his stomach's hurting him, all right. And now Adam is angry because he's like, yo, I should have never ate this food and eaten this, because now I have this stomach pain. All right, continue.
Verse 4, then Adam said to Eve, this pain did not come to us in the garden, neither did we eat such bad food there. Do you think, O Eve, that God will plague us through the food that is in us, or that our innards will come out, or that God means to kill us with this pain before he has fulfilled his promise to us? Then Adam besought the Lord and said, O Lord, let us not perish through the food we have eaten. O Lord, don't punish us, but deal with us according to your great mercy, and forsake us not until the day of the promise you had made us. Then God looked at Adam, and then fitted them for eating food at once, as to this day, so that they should not perish.
All right, so the Most High seen them. We don't know how they ate this, but they ate it some way, all right? And then the Most High now fitted their organs and internal things to be able to now deal with the food, all right, properly. All right, so they didn't have what we have now that enables us to take in this food and get it out. All right, and we're going to show what that is called as well. All right, that's called a metabolic system. All right, but continue.
Verse 7, then Adam and Eve came back into the cave sorrowful and crying because of the alteration of their bodies. And they both knew from that hour that they were altered beings, that all hope of returning to the garden was now lost, and that they could not enter it. For that now their bodies had strange functions, And all flesh that requires food and drink for its existence cannot be in the garden.
All right, so it shows us that they knew that their alterations of their body, they ate a new way. They had digestive system. All right, they had waste that's gonna come out. They knew that because they have waste that's gonna come out, there's no way they could enter into the kingdom anymore. Nobody who's taking a crap can enter into the kingdom. No, it just doesn't want to work like that.
Well, even when they're in the wilderness, they had to go outside of the camp to do that too anyways. So they couldn't do it in the camp.
Yeah, well, people don't look at things like that. All right, so we're paying attention to the details. That if we're gonna go up, this is why he says you're gonna have to change. We're gonna go up. We gotta have a different type of way to ingest the food. All right, and to take in the energies we need to have our body running. All right, it's not gonna be the way we are now because it comes with waste. All right, death coming out the rear end. All right, continue.
Verse 9. Then Adam said to Eve, "Behold, our hope is now lost, and so is our trust to enter the garden. We no longer belong to the inhabitants of the garden, but from now on we are earthly and of the dust, and of the inhabitants of the earth. We shall not return to the garden until the day in which God has promised to save us and to bring us again into the garden as he promised us." Then they prayed to God that he would have mercy on them, after which their mind was quieted, their hearts were broken, and their longing was cooled down, and they were like strangers on earth. That night Adam and Eve spent in the cave, where they slept heavily by reason of the food they had eaten.
All right, so they slept heavily by the reason of the food they're eating. This is the first time they ate, and the food, what they were eating before, didn't slow them down. All right, so we're gonna see that when you eat, your body is doing something. This is the first time they're realizing this, and they're gonna take a heavier sleep than before. All right, which they're not used to, and this comes because we're gonna see we have a metabolic system. All right, which is attached to what they call your body is attached to calories. All right, and this is all going back to energy that your body is expending to do these things that we put into it. All right, so him doing this the first time, this food, as we can see, the Most High is the one giving him this, and this food is still causing something to happen, which means that no food that you eat on this earth is going to be 100% for you. All right, because Adam's eating and Adam don't like it. All right, he's seeing that it's changing up the way his body is. His body's not running in up-team condition. It's just a new way for him to live in, which he has to accept. But he's seen the way before, so we're dealing with it. We don't know. We're thinking that's the way everything's fine. Right, but we're seeing it live from someone who's reporting and saying, hey, this is different. And even when he had alkaline figs and that's all he ate, he still slept heavy because his body wasn't used to that. All right, that's not something we should be used to. Our body never did that before. All right, that's a new thing where it has to break down a load of food and consume that. He was doing it a different way. All right.
I don't mean to go out here, but just thinking about that and eating food. When you're fasting long term, it's the opposite. It's like nighttime coming, you can't sleep.
Yeah, we try to have to fight sleep.
Yeah, can't sleep in the night, tossing and turning.
Some incense.
Yeah, I remember that.
All right, so we're gonna go to Sirach 31 and 19.
It's the book of Ecclesiastes, also known as Sirach, out of the Apocrypha, chapter 31. Starting at the 19th verse. A very little is sufficient for a man well nurtured, and he fetcheth not his wind short upon his bed. Sound sleep cometh of moderate eating. He riseth early, and his wits are with him. But the pain of watching and choler and pangs of the belly are with an unsatiable man. And if thou hast been forced to eat, arise, go forth, vomit, and thou shalt have rest.
All right, so it speaks about, if you have everything that you need, all right, which means that if our body is well nourished, it only needs little top-ups, all right? If we're not nourished, then it's going to need major top-ups. That's what our body is always looking for. As we can see, when we're looking at people's diet from before into now, it's getting bigger and bigger because, it's looking for more, all right? So, once again, it says very little is sufficient for a man well nurtured. So you're already nurtured. Your body is already thinking it's only going to need little because it's only needs little top up. But if it's empty, it's always going to need a big top up. All right. And it speaks of his fetches not his wind short upon his bed, so he can sleep properly. All right, sound sleep coming from moderate eating, able to rise up early, do things of that nature. All right, but the pain of watching, the cold, or the pains of the belly are with an insatiable man. Now, Adam wasn't insatiable or anything like that, but it's just his first time experiencing the change that happened to mankind. All right, that brought that on. There's a difference that happens. All right, so he was in the best condition compared to us, but still a change happened, and we see the effects of it. All right, so we're going to go into what is stomach heaviness.
What is stomach heaviness? A satisfying feeling of fullness often occurs after finishing a big meal. But if that feeling becomes physically uncomfortable and lasts longer after eating than it should, you may have what many people call, quote, stomach heaviness, unquote. Symptoms of heaviness in stomach. The symptoms of stomach heaviness vary from person to person. Common symptoms include acid reflux, bad breath, bloating, belching, flatulence, heartburn, nausea, sluggishness, and stomach pain. Potential causes of heaviness in stomach. The cause of heaviness in your stomach is often a reflection of your eating habits, such as eating too quickly, eating too much, eating too often, eating greasy or heavily seasoned foods, eating foods that are difficult to digest.
All right, so stomach heaviness, all right, which is a satisfying feeling of fullness that often occurs after finishing a big meal. All right, when we go into our carbohydrates lesson, I'm not going to spill the beans, but we'll understand exactly what's happening. All right, when we put too much and at a time, all right, that causes that feeling. All right, but we see here it says it's an uncomfortable feeling that lasts longer after eating than it should. All right, which they call stomach heaviness, and they equate some of the stuff to it: acid reflux, bad breath, bloating, belching, heartburn, nausea, sluggishness, stomach pain. These are some simple stuff, all right? But this is what it goes back to saying that many of us, we don't really know what we're doing. When when do we know to stop? We just, whenever, you know what I mean? Just stop, whatever you feel. If your body's telling you, though, if you had preservatives and different things that is telling your mind something else, though, then you can't really tell them to stop because your body is saying continue to go, right? So this is why paying attention and knowing the exacts or whatever is always good as well.
They have the blanket term IBS, which is irritable bowel syndrome, which is like an umbrella that they use for all different types of complications where they don't really know exactly what's going on. And that's obviously a result of eating, your eating habits.
All right. So Adam had to eat. He had to eat a new way. He didn't eat too much of it. He's just the first one to go through this experience. But now many people are going through this. All right. And this is what Adam was afraid of, as we all seen, and that happened. All right. So stomach heaviness, once again, comes from eating too much, eating too quickly, eating too often, eating greasy or seasoned food, eating foods that are difficult to digest. All right. Meaning difficult for your body to break down. All right. And we've seen the different symptoms that come with that, which is just, basic symptoms. All right. It's nothing too crazy. And people could have this and not even think anything. All right. We all experienced some of this before. All right. So we're now going to go into what is protein. So we all know that everyone's been on protein craze, protein this, so you're getting your protein. The whole debate about, vegetarians not being able to get their protein. The whole debate about you need to go to eat meat to get proteins, all right? Or the whole debate about, maybe, vegetarian meals don't have enough protein. You have to go to the big one. And then the whole debate about, some people did go vegetarian or were vegetarian, and they said they weren't getting enough protein. And they went back now to consume the flesh with the protein. We're going to take a look on exactly what is protein, all right? How it's related to your body, how it operates, how it functions, all right? And we're going to be able to analyze this properly and give a proper report on it, all right, from ourselves, from this church, all right? So we're going to go into what is protein.
What is protein? The word protein comes from the Greek word proteos, meaning the first one or most important one. Protein is truly the body's most important building block. Our life takes place in proteins, and we store vital information in proteins. When we learn something, it happens by changes in protein structures. When we propagate our genes and pass them along to the next generation, it also takes place through proteins. We grow, we change, and our entire lives occur in proteins.
All right, so we see, proteins is important. All right, first and foremost, the word protein comes from the Greek word proteus, all right, meaning the first one or the most important one. All right, so when people hear protein, a lot of the times I've asked people and they think that, protein is one thing. I just need protein. All right, most people think protein is just protein, one protein. All right, just make sure there is protein in there. Is there protein in there? All right, and we're going to see, is that the case? All right, but it just means that this substance that's in the body is an important building block. It's important. All right, everything that we do, as we're seeing, takes place in the proteins. The information is stored in protein. All right, your body's learning things and changing in ways that from protein structures. All right, everything that's happening in the body, a lot of it has to do with protein. So we see why people are putting such a great emphasis on ensuring that we intake protein. All right, continue for us.
There are only 21 different amino acids from which all animal and plant proteins on Earth are constructed.
All right, so something makes protein. All right, and this is where it's going to. 21 different amino acids come together and construct and make protein. All right, and make a substance called protein. Continue.
8 of these 21 amino acids are known as essential amino acids because our body is incapable of synthesizing them.
All right, so here it is. All right, shows you that there's 21 different types of amino acids that your body can use to make protein. All right, or that make protein. Sorry, that's what it's saying. Let's stick to what it's saying exactly. All right, 8 of those 21 are known as essential amino acids. All right, because our body is incapable of synthesizing them. Give us that
This is
word.
out of the Merriam-Webster dictionary for synthesize. It is a verb to make something by combining different things, to combine things in order to make something new, to make something from simpler substances through a chemical process. And the full definition here, it's a transitive verb to combine or produce by synthesis, to make a synthesis of, and the third, to produce something such as music by an electronic synthesizer.
All right, so to take substances and it make a new substance, make something new. So your body takes amino acids and makes something new. This is a saying that your body cannot make 8 of these amino acids to make the protein. So this is letting us know that what? Your body makes protein, all right? Your body makes protein. Your body needs 8 essential amino acids to help assist it, all right? Because it needs 21, and 8 of them is missing out of the body, so that your body can synthesize the protein, meaning it can take that and make protein. So how do we get to, we need to eat protein, or eat flesh to get protein? All right, when we're seeing clearly, your body synthesizes protein. It needs 8 amino acids, essential ones, to help aid to do that. That's all it needs. All right, continue.
Consequently, we must obtain these 8 amino acids through our diet.
All right, so we have to obtain these 8 amino acids through our diet. This is what we need. All right, well, people should be going outside like, oh, do you have 8 amino acids? Do you have 8 amino acids? Is there 8 amino acids in there? That's what it should be. You know, when someone comes and says, oh, is there protein in there? That's not letting us know anything, because clearly we're seeing there's how much, different, it's not even telling us how much protein. It's just telling us your body makes the protein. And we're going to get to how much protein the body makes. Or is there various types? All right, but it's telling us you just need 21 of these amino acids. Your body gets that it can synthesize the protein. It will make it on its own. Your body will make protein on its own, meaning you don't need to what? You don't need to eat flesh to get protein. That is a lie. That's a direct lie that we can see. Just go ahead looking into the word and looking into the body. All right? So we can clearly see that. Your body makes, once again, protein. Your body makes protein. It needs 21 amino acids to make this compound. 8 of them it doesn't supply. Meaning you need to go and get 8 of these amino acids in your diet. So the new thing should be, is there 8 amino acids in this thing here? All right. Continue for us.
Therefore, it is not the quantity of protein per se that is critical for our metabolism, but rather its quality and the nature of its constituent amino acids.
All right. So it's not the quantity of protein, all right, but the quality of protein that is the important thing. All right. You need that quality 8 amino acids, all right, and to make sure that your body has the other, all right, it makes it on its own. As long as you're, and we're going to go into that, as long as you're giving the body what it needs, and which is delivered, all right, it's going to do what it needs to do. All right. So we have 21 amino acids. All right. 8 are known as amino essentials. All right. As amino essential amino acids. All right. The body cannot make essential amino acids. All right. Your body cannot make it. So your body cannot synthesize 8 of these amino acids. That's what your body needs. All right. To help aid it when it comes to needing of protein. All right, so we're going to go into what are essential amino acids.
What are essential amino acids? Amino acids are organic compounds composed of nitrogen, carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, along with a variable side chain group. Your body needs 20 different amino acids to grow and function properly. Though all 20 of these are important for your health, only 9 amino acids are classified as essential. These are histidine, isoleucine, leucine, lysine, methionine, phenylalanine, threonine, tryptophan, and valine. Unlike non-essential amino acids, essential amino acids can't be made by your body and must be obtained through your diet.
All right, so like we said, all right, histidine, leucine, lysine, methionine, phenylalanine, threonine, tryptophan, and valine. All right, these are the amino acids your body needs. Now it's going to be hard for you to go and be like, oh, make sure this has this. All right, but there's simple foods that attack
Can't
this.
even pronounce it.
All right, don't take our pronunciation for Wikipedia. Google it. All right, Google 8 essential amino acids. All right, don't take our pronunciation.
You might not get it.
You might take something different. All right. All right. Well, unlike the non-essential amino acids, essential amino acids, the body once again can't make. It must be obtained through the diet. We need to be taking a diet of the 8 essential amino acids. All right, continue.
The best sources of essential amino acids are animal proteins like meat, eggs, and poultry.
All right, and we're going to go into why they keep saying this. All right, why they keep telling us and bringing us to the source. Because this source is not telling you, oh, be vegetarian. This is giving you basic on what people go to for these things. All right, but we're seeing that they're always trying to lead you into the flesh to get this. All right, but continue.
When you eat protein, it's broken down into amino acids, which are then used to help your body with various processes such as building muscle and regulating immune function.
All right. So it shows you, it's trying to tell you that when you eat protein, it's broken down into amino. This is how and this is with a lot of science, and we've been going through this. The science, they're trying to understand. Everyone's trying to understand the body because we're coming from a place of not knowing. Nobody knows, all right? Every man was left here, and the Most High did what he had to do, and everyone's trying to figure out the puzzle. And the puzzle's still not figured out yet, or else everything would be in tip-top. All right. So they're telling you to eat, all right, Go to the animal, because the animal, guess what the animal's doing? The animal knows what? The animal knows where to get its essential amino acids. All right, it knows where to get it. All right, so yeah, go to the animal, it will have it. All right, because it needs to live. All right, like we need to live. So it will have it in its body for you. All right, what we need to know is where we need to go for the source. Where is the animal going for the source? All right, because everything needs it. The animal is not synthesizing these itself. All right, it's going somewhere. All right, so what they're just telling you to do is take secondhand amino acids, all right, through the flesh. That's what it's basically telling you to do. All right, because the animal flesh, we are the same. All right.
All right, this is the book of Ecclesiastes out of the Bible, chapter 3, starting at the 18th verse. I said in mine heart concerning the estate of the sons of men, that God might manifest them, and that they might see that they themselves are beasts.
All right, we're beasts. All right, so you eating the beast to get the 21 amino acids or the essential. You're like it. It needs it like you need it. All right, we are the same. Why are you dependent on it? All right, continue.
Verse 19, for that which befalleth the sons of men befalleth beasts, even one thing befalleth them, as the one dieth, so dieth the other. Yea, they all have one breath, so that a man hath no preeminence over a beast, for all is vanity.
All right, so what befalleth the sons of men befalleth beasts. It need 8 essential amino acids. Guess what we need? We need 8 essential amino acids. It's going to get it. We need to get it. We don't know how to get it, which is why they're just telling you, hey, just tag along on it and go and eat it. All right, but continue. We're going to go back into what are the essential amino acids.
Conditionally essential amino acids. There are several non-essential amino acids that are classified as conditionally essential. These are considered to be essential only under specific circumstances, such as illness or stress. For example, although arginine is considered non-essential, your body can't meet demands when fighting certain diseases like cancer. That's why arginine must be supplemented through diet in order to meet your body's needs in certain situations.
All right, so it shows us that the other things, all right, if you have a problem now, obviously your fluid in your body will run low now. Now you need that because now it needs help to aid in something. That's all it's showing you, all right, that they're not essential. Your body makes them. But if your body is now depleted of something and it has a disease of something, it will affect the area now. That area now would not be making that. Now you need to supplement to aid it, to help it, all right? And then we would have to take that, and it's talking about arginine, all right? We'll continue. All right, so we're going to go down to protein synthesis, all right? So this is the making of the protein, all right? The 21 amino acids coming together and making protein. And making protein. The outcome's protein, all right? That's what they call synthesis, all right?
The liver is one of the most important organs for making proteins. It produces or transforms millions of protein molecules each day.
Hold on, all right. So the liver, all right? The liver is one of the most important organs for making proteins. Your liver, they just told us our liver makes protein, all right? We don't need what? We don't need flesh for protein, all right? Who's telling us these lies, all right? Who's telling us these deceptions? Why, when you ask somebody about protein, they're not going to tell you that their body makes it. They're going to tell you, did you get any chicken? Did you get your protein? All right. This is what they're telling us. But it's telling us that the liver is the most important organ for making protein. Your body makes this. It produces, transforms millions of protein molecules each day. Once again, it produces, transforms millions of protein molecules each day. Continue.
Proteins are made from amino acids.
Proteins are made from amino acids. All right, no, you gotta go eat protein. Proteins are made from amino acids. No, you gotta eat protein. That's what they told us. Proteins are made from amino acids. Not something you go out and find in nature and eat and it's there. All right, it's synthesized to make into a new thing. The 21 amino acids come together. to make up this substance called protein, which our body makes. All right, we need the 8 essential ones to ensure that it does that. All right, so who told us that we need to eat flesh for protein? All right, this is the deception that's going on. We'll continue.
Some of these amino acids are already in the body. Others, called the essential amino acids, can only be obtained from your diet. Proteins have many vital functions. We use them for the growth and maintenance of body tissues such as muscles, the heart, kidneys, and blood vessel walls. The liver makes hundreds of different proteins with different functions. Some transport vitamins and minerals around the body.
All right, so this is what proteins do. All right, so proteins, they're kind of like a prison guard. All right, so if you have certain things in your body, they don't naturally just go through your body. All right, the Most High created this thing that brings them through your body. It's going to take it by the arm. It's going to, all right, we're going to go up the bloodstream. We're going to go around here. We're going to take you around there because it's not naturally going to go there. So the protein needs to bring it there. All right, bring it around. And as well, make sure that it's not going to harm your body. That's why it's bringing it around too. You're not going to do anything extra than what you're required to do. All right, it needs to bring it around like a guard. All right, so this is what protein does. All right, and then we'll do that. We'll get into it. All right, actually, we'll get there. All right, we'll continue.
Some act as catalysts to speed up metabolic reactions. These proteins are called enzymes. Others regulate the pattern of all the different activities within a cell.
All right, so some speed up, so some help for your body to break down everything and get everything sorted out in a good time. All right, and others regulate the activities of different parts of your body. All right, so protein is not one single, it's many different types of substances. They don't have names for all of these things. All right, or maybe they do have names now. All right, but to just simplify it, they just call it protein. All right, and this protein will take that and that. They're not going to tell you what protein it is that take. That's too much proteins for them to tell you. So just tell you a protein is taking it with it. A next protein is going with it, but they're not specific on what protein it is. All right, because the vastness of all the types of protein. All right, continue for us.
Albumin. Albumin is usually present in high quantities in the blood. It is used to bind hormones, certain chemicals, and drugs. Albumin also regulates the exchange of water between blood and tissues. If the concentration of water in the body fluids is not the same as that of the cells, there is a risk that fluid will burst out of the cells.
All right, so albumin regulates the exchange of water between the blood and the tissue. So, all right, through the blood and go through the tissue. This, all right, regulates that. All right, continue for us.
During our lives, the liver constantly monitors the body's pressure level to ensure this is balanced.
All right, so the liver does everything, as I was saying. All right, when you're eating, all right, you're eating to get fuel, energy. All right, but if you look at a car, when you put fuel in the car, there's a whole bunch of different other fluids that your car needs to run. All right, your fuel that you go get and fuel up every day is not only thing keeping your car running. All right, it's the main thing. All right, but there's other things that your car needs. All right, windshield wiper, washing fluid, different little things that your car needs. All right, this is what the liver does. The liver supplies all of that because in the car you're gonna have to go buy all of these supplies. All right, the liver supplies all of that. The liver will give you all of that. All right, so all of those little top-ups, your thing for your eye, anything that your body needs, your liver is gonna make that fluid. It's gonna synthesize and make that fluid. That's what your liver does. It makes fluids for you. One of the things it makes, protein. That's just one of the things it makes. It does a plethora of different things, but this is the system of the body, the part of the body that makes all the fluids for us. All right, all the fluids come from the liver. All right, it's the storehouse for all of that. It monitors your body pressure, your this. Is this fluid need that? It's gonna give you that. It does all of that. All right, what you see on your dashboard and it's telling you that's what the liver will be checking, making sure everything is topped up. All right, continue.
Okay. Let me see. During our lives, the liver constantly monitors the body's pressure level to ensure this is balanced. If the liver cannot synthesize enough albumin, a buildup of fluid in the tissues may occur. This is usually a symptom associated with decompensated cirrhosis, where fluid may build up in the ankles, the feet, or the legs, which are edema, or in the abdomen.
All right, so I think that happens to older people too. When they get things, their foot starts to swell up and things of that nature, and they're not coming to tell them these things. All right, they're just giving them more and more medicine. All right, when what do they need? All right, it's clearly telling them what they need is albumin. All right, they need more of that. All right, because when it's not there, all right, we're gonna see a swelling up, build up of fluid in the tissues, because what? Albumin helps the water transfer from the blood into the tissue nicely. All right, if it's not there, water is gonna what? Pile up there. All right, and this is why their foot swell now. Now they're like, oh, how much time I remember like, oh, my foot feels swell. Couldn't tell her nothing. She don't know what's going on. She was the doctor. What they gonna give her? Pills, something. You're not telling her the cause of what's going on.
Or drain it.
All right, yeah, just drain it.
And then go fill back up and then come again.
Right? This is what's going on. All right. So if you have an elk person and they're telling you that their foot's swelling up and things of that nature, you need to let them know. You know what? Let's make sure that your albumin levels are correct. All right, because now we're understanding that. Guess what? Your body has to do what? It has to transfer the water into your tissues. All right, and to do that, it uses this thing. If this thing is not there, buildup of water will occur. All right, that's all we have to make sure is correct. All right, continue for us.
Iron. The liver stores and releases iron around the body as and when it is needed. On its own, iron is toxic to the body's cells, so the body attaches it to a protein.
All right, so this is what I was saying. All right, iron is not naturally a part of you. All right, it's in you. It can't do these things. It needs protein to help it, and it's toxic. All right, the protein has to guard it, bring it around, and also make sure it's not going to poison you or anything. All right. So once again, all right, the liver stores and releases iron around the body. All right, so it stores and releases. So it doesn't say it makes. All right, it stores and releases iron around the body as when it is needed on its own. Iron is toxic to the body's cell. So once again, the body attaches it to a protein. So this is what the protein do. Anything, something about, attach a protein to it. It's like a guard, right? Protein, walk him up there. All right, this is what it does. All right. So the Most High made these things to help the body, as we see with Adam, so he's fitted for eating. All right, so he's fitted for these things, and his body can replenish and he get energy. All right, continue.
In the liver, iron is bound to the protein ferritin. When liver disease is related to an increase in the amounts of ferritin in the liver, it may cause damage to the tissues and organs. This is called hematochromatosis. Iron is also essential for making hemoglobin. This helps to transport the oxygen in the bloodstream. If there is not enough iron to make hemoglobin, this may lead to lethargy and anemia.
All right, so when liver disease is related to an increase in the amounts of ferritin in the liver, all right, it's going to cause damage to the tissues and organs. It's called
Hemochromatosis.
hemochromatosis.
I pronounced that incorrectly.
All right. And iron is also essential for making hemoglobin. So that's why your body is bringing the iron there, all right? And the hemoglobin is helping the body transport oxygen in the bloodstream. So we see how important it is, all right? So if you don't have iron, low iron, will also show you that you need that for what, all right? For hemoglobin, and that, that could, hemoglobin, hemoglobin, and this helps transport oxygen in the bloodstream. All right. So if there's low iron, there's going to be low hemoglobin, which means there's going to be low oxygen. All right. It will lead to lethargy. Get to that word lethargy.
This is the definition here for lethargy. It's a noun, a lack of energy or a lack of interest in doing things, a lethargic feeling or state. Full definition here, the first one, abnormal drowsiness, and the second definition, the quality or state of being lazy, sluggish, or indifferent.
All right, so lazy, sluggish, indifferent. So you're not getting oxygen. The oxygen is a big thing that makes you go, all right? And we're going to go into this stuff as we're going to go, because oxygen is one of the things. Oxygen gets what? If you give oxygen to the fire, it speed up, it runs, right? This is what it's showing you. So I'm going to show you that our body runs on fire, all right? You need this oxygen. There's no oxygen in it. It's going to show you why you're going to get tired, all right? Because the fire is not going, all right? Fire is cooling down now. When you're outside and you see that happen, you got to speed it back up, give it air again, all right? You'll see it start picking up and going, all right? So this is happening to people. So we have to understand not only that it just causes lethargy, but why is that happening? And this is what happens when we're taking a full scope look at it, all right? It needs oxygen attached to fire make you go. When someone has fire, they're going. You have the fire in you, all right? This is what it's showing you, all right? No oxygen is going to be hard for you to have movement, all right? What's the anemia?
Ammonia conversion. Ammonia is a toxic substance derived from the metabolism of proteins.
All right, so ammonia is a toxic substance derived from metabolism of proteins. All right, so as the body is dealing with the proteins, this thing called ammonia comes out of that. All right, continue.
The liver converts ammonia to urea, which is water-soluble, non-toxic, and excreted by the kidneys. Liver dysfunction in decompensated cirrhosis can lead to an inability to convert this ammonia, which then builds up in the blood.
All right, so that ammonia then builds up in the blood. All right, so once again, the liver now, all right, converts this thing into a new thing. So the liver's like, oh shoot, not only does it give you stuff, it makes stuff. It's like, oh shoot, something toxic, take that, change that into something that your body can take, put it through the kidneys. Kidneys send that through and out of the body. All right, that's what the Most High has programmed our body with. All right, and if that's unable to do that, all right, you're gonna have a buildup of ammonia in your blood. All right, we're gonna go into the origin of the word metabolism.
The word metabolism is derived from the Greek word metabolismos, or from the French word metabolisme. In Greek, metabol means a change, and metabalin means to change. The combination of the words is derived from meta, meaning over, and balling, meaning to throw, from ballistics.
All right, so metabolism, all right, metabolismos, all right, from the Greek, means change, to change. All right, the combination of the words is derived meaning meta, over, bal, to throw. All right, to change what? To change this substance from what it is into energy your body needs. How fast it does that, how fast it gets rid of that, fills up all the areas of your body with what it needs, and now it's ready for the next phase. That is a metabolism, all right? Slow one means that it's not doing that quick enough and sufficiently enough, all right? So when we're talking about metabolism, it's the running of the system, taking the load, doing everything it needs, synthesizing everything, bringing in all the areas, building up your cells, bringing renewable energy all over the place, filling up whatever it needs to tap up, and all of it's done. Whatever you gave it, of course, it's all it could use, right? You give it what it needs. The liver will try to make whatever it can based off what you gave it. All right, and this is metabolism. All right, continue for us.
Metabolism and metabolic pathways have been studied over several centuries and has moved from examining whole animals in early studies to examining individual metabolic reaction in modern biochemistry and molecular biology. Early metabolic studies. Metabolic studies have been conducted as early as 13th century by Ibn al-Nafis, who stated that, quote, The body and its parts are in a continuous stage of dissolution and nourishment, so they are inevitably undergoing permanent change,
Right.
unquote.
So your body is constantly going through, it's constantly running energy and looking for energy and constantly losing it. It's like when your car is on. As soon as you turn it on, people like to turn it off because, if it's on, guess what it's doing? It's running, right? This is what your body is. Once you're up and operating, everything's going down because you're running now. Your body is up and running. Only time that's going to happen when you're sleeping, and even then, it just slows down. All right? When you're up now, your body is up and running. It's going to need what? It's going to need its energy, going to need everything. Just like your car, everything's going down. It's in a constant state of levels changing, things going down, things being used. All right? This is what's happening. All right? So the body and its parts are in a continuous state of dissolution and nourishment. All right, give us the dissolution. All right.
It's the definition for dissolution out of the Merriam-Webster dictionary. It is a noun, the act of officially ending a marriage, organization, agreement, etc. Also, the process of making something slowly end or disappear. Full definition, or first definition, the act or process of dissolving, such as A, separation into component parts, or B1, decay, disintegration, or 2, death. Grew convinced of his friends approaching dissolution.
All right. So it's constantly ending something, starting again, going, starting again, sowing, starting again. All right. Just finished, ate that, needs it, go fill up again. All right. This is what it does. As soon as it's done, all right, tap up again. All right. And this is what the Most High told Adam. Your body's gonna have to continually go through this. And Adam had to get used to this because his body, he was like, I didn't need to tell. My body wasn't running like this before. I didn't need to have a tap up every second. All right, continue.
The original recorded and more sophisticated studies of metabolism began in the closing decades of the 16th century. It was during this time that direct observation was augmented by instrumentation that allowed for qualification and, therefore, verification in sciences, especially of biological systems. In medicine, progress depended on the application of the exact sciences of chemistry, mathematics, and physics to the study of function. Early metabolic studies. No, I think that was up there already.
It's the sand. Totally good.
So continue with that one.
Yeah.
Early metabolic studies. Metabolic studies have been conducted as early. Okay. Sanctorious, and insensible perspiration. Santorius contributed by exploring insensible perspiration. His efforts over years of experimentation gave rise to the metabolic balance studies. The first control experiments in human metabolism was published by Santorio in 1614 in his book Ars de Sancta Medicina. In his experiments, he weighed himself before and after eating, sleep, working, sex, fasting, drinking, and excreting. He found that most of the food he took in was lost through what he called, quote, insensible perspiration, unquote.
All right, so he's seeing that, he's weighing himself, and he see, hey, every second, I'm seeing that, I'm losing the thing, I'm losing weight, the weight's not there. He's after every time he's seeing and weighing himself, and he came out with this insensible perspiration. Let's see. Continue for us.
What were initial studies of metabolism conducted on? Initial studies of metabolism were conducted on living animals or human volunteers. The mechanisms of these metabolic processes has not yet been identified, and a vital force was thought to animate living tissue. 19th century metabolic studies. It was in the 19th century when Louis Pasteur was experimenting with fermentation of sugar to alcohol by yeast. He noted that fermentation was catalyzed by substances within the yeast cells he called, quote, ferments, unquote. This discovery, along with the publication by Frederick Wohlher in 1828 of the chemical synthesis of urea, laid the basics for organic compounds and chemical reactions found in cells that form the basis of metabolic pathways.
All right, so remember, this is before microscopes, before any of those stuff. So they didn't know what was going on. They didn't know about protein. This is doing that. This is taking that. So he's weighing himself. He's doing that. He's like, yo, something's happening where it's, yo, something is taking and working on things and going on. All right, and they're figuring it out now by looking at, okay, when something is now fermented. So it's like, yo, something's working on it, breaking it down. So something is operating in there and breaking stuff down. All right, people just start to realize how this stuff started to happen. This is why the Most High is telling us this way before man's discovering this. All right, continue for us.
20th century metabolic studies. Edward Buckner, in the beginning of the 20th century, advanced the knowledge further by discovering enzymes. He found that the study of the chemical reactions of metabolism was a different branch from the biological study of cells and began to understand the basics of biochemistry. Early 20th century saw rapid development in biochemical studies. The most notable findings was the discovery of citric acid cycle, or Krebs cycle, by Hans Krebs, who made huge contributions to the study of metabolism. He discovered the urea cycle and later, working with Hans Kornberg, the citric acid cycle and the glycosate cycle.
All right, so we just went through the urea, where the urea had made the ammonia, all right, and then ammonia went to the liver, where the liver turned it into something else, a different water soluble, and brought it over to the kidneys, all right. Nobody knew all of this stuff. People had to figure this out, so they're just figuring out. It took them a long time to figure out, yo, when we eat, your body does different things in different parts and breaks this down. They just start to figure that out, and they call that metabolism. And they figured out that when I eat this, as soon as it takes it, it goes to different parts and does different things, and it goes here and it goes there, and it's working a motion. All right. To us now, it seems like, oh yeah, pretty much doing it. But this, they didn't know this. They could not see in the body. They can't see anything. All right. Imagine us using your body. You can't see nothing. What can you see? You can't tell nothing. All right. So you don't know what's going on. You just eat and you're like, oh, it's in my belly, and then it went down. You don't know that before it went there, all different stuff is happening. It's going here. It's going there. There's this system, that system. All right. Now these people coming up and understanding science, all right, is realizing this, and they're able to find different systems and different stuff inside of our body. All right. So continue for us.
Current metabolic studies. Metabolism is now studied with the help of molecular biotechnology techniques and genomics. Instruments such as chromatography, X-ray diffraction, NMR spectroscopy, radioscopic labeling, electron microscopy, and molecular dynamic simulations are commonly used. These techniques have allowed the discovery and detailed analysis of the metabolic pathways and the genetic basis of metabolic disorders. Studies over the last 2 centuries have also made advances in the understanding of drug metabolism and metabolism of xenobiotics.
All right, so once again, it's the study of what your body is doing with the stuff that it has inside of it. All right, they just started to understand that, oh shoot, yo, you need this. Iron is going to be taken by this protein, and it goes there. So when your thing is broken down, it turns it into this, and then the protein goes and it brings it there. Right? They need to understand all of this so that when something's happening to somebody, they know how to fix it, change it, all right, which is a metabolic study. Metabolism is how the body runs and functions once you take the food and it goes in, and where everything has to go, all right, and how fast it does this as well. That's a key thing, all right, so continue for us.
Doctors used to believe we needed foods with essential amino acids. How to eat foods with essential amino acids. Doctors previously believed that people had to eat foods that provided all 9 essential amino acids in one meal.
All right, so we keep hearing 9, but we're going to go with the 8. Keep hearing the 8, but as we go in, you keep looking up. They're confused with the 8 or the 9, but going with the Most High's numbering, we know that it's 8. We're going with the stomach. He gave 7, all right, compartments of the stomach, then 3 for the fecal matter, all right. When we're looking at this, I'm going to go with the 8, all right, which we know 8 is eternity, all right. 8 is eternity, and there's a reason why always the Most High puts his numbers on things. All right, so continue.
As a result, unless an individual was eating meat, eggs, dairy, tofu, or other food with all the essential amino acids, it was necessary to combine 2 or more plant foods containing all 9, such as rice and beans.
All right, so here we have it. All right, essentially, obviously, this is where the problem is going. All right, when people are eating meat, the animal is going to eat all of these things and put it together. You go eat the animal, yes, it's not going to have plethora of it because you're getting secondhand source now, but it has it in there, all right? But typically, if you're going to go and now you're not going to eat an animal, and this is what people, especially vegetarians, don't understand. If you're not going to eat the animal, you have to make sure the essential amino acids are on your plate, which means various things have to be on there. You cannot just go and be like, you know what? I'll just add a one thing on the side before when it was with the meat. You have meat and you just add a one thing on the side and yeah, everyone's good with that. You can't do that, all right? You now have to add various things in there and know what you're doing. And it's very easy, very cutthroat, but you just have to have the understanding. All right, so we see here, they're saying, unless you're going to eat a source that has all of that, and they always like to throw in the meat, because yes, the meat's going to have all of that. The farmer's going to give the meat all of that because he wants to sell it to you. So it has to have all of that, all right? If not, you're going to have to combine 2 or more plant foods to get to this, all right? Such as, they go rice, beans, all right? Continue.
Today, however, that recommendation is different. People who eat vegetarian or vegan diets can get their essential amino acids from various plant foods throughout the day and do not necessarily have to eat them all together at one meal.
All right. So we see that where the problem could be arising, all right? People are not making sure that they're getting their amino acids. Just like, oh, I must be getting it if I'm just eating various different meals. All right, when before, let's assure that they're on the plate because this is what we came here to do. The other stuff is, all right, well, this is what we need. This is essential. All right, and it's like the Most High is bringing us back to essential. What essential is? This is a time right now where everyone understands what essential is right now, when it means essential. All right, you know what essential means right now. All right, only things essential operating right now. All right. So we're going to go to this last part here, and then we stop there. We continue next week. All right, we'll continue.
The truth about metabolism. Is a sluggish metabolism to blame for your weight gain? This was published in April 2018. You no doubt have heard of metabolism and may even have a vague idea of what it is. But there are a lot of myths related to the impact metabolism has on your health, especially in terms of weight loss.
All right, and this is what Adam had a problem with. He's like, oh, when I eat this, my skin's gonna get thick. All right, and going into this as well, when we're learning about the body, all right, because the body starts, you know, with Adam as we see, but now when we're gonna go and bring it now into the New Testament, it's gonna go into the church and the function and the running of the church. That's what it's gonna go to. So understanding how the body runs and functions, we can ensure that the body of Christ is running and functioning properly. All right, Christ has a body. All right, us understanding this. All right, so one of the things, especially with metabolism, we could understand is that, guess what? If we put a load into the body of Christ, all right, some information, guess what it has to do? We have to metabolize it quick, all right? It has to go to this area, go to that area, go here, do what it needs to do. If it's not doing what it needs to do, guess what we have in Christ? We have a slow metabolism, all right? We have a slow metabolism. All right, now we see slow metabolism brings what? They say it brings weight gain, all right? So now we see what churches outside, we're not seeing them process and bring out information. We're going to see them get fat.
They're getting big.
Yeah.
Quantity, numbers.
Yeah, they're not processing out the stuff. You got the stuff, you're not sending it out of the body, you're not going the stuff, releasing it out. Your body needs to release stuff. All right? This is how we can get a better understanding of even Christ's body and what's operating, all right? They're not processing the food, the information they're getting, and making sure that their metabolism is running. Their metabolism is not running, it's slow. Slow metabolism brings weight gain, which is why we can see riches, things of that nature. All right, we'll continue.
In simple terms, metabolism is the internal process by which your body expands energy and burns calories.
All right, so metabolism, all right, is the internal process by which your body expends energy and burns calories. All right, so it's gonna exert energy and it's gonna burn these calories. All right, which is, we're gonna see this all electricity. All right, continue.
It runs 24/7 to keep your body moving, even when you're resting or sleeping, by converting the food and nutrients you consume into the energy your body needs in order to breathe, circulate blood, grow and repair cells, and everything else it does to survive.
All right, so you see why this is so important. It's running all day. All day, your different various fluid levels is going up and down. The metabolism is ensuring that, okay, that's down, okay, break that down, send that there. And it's making sure to keep topping and topping up. All right.
All right, this is the book of Ecclesiastes, also known as Sirach, chapter 31, verse 19. A very little is sufficient for a man well nurtured, and he fancieth not his wind short upon his bed. Sound sleep.
All right, you can start right. That's why that first. A very little is sufficient for a man well nurtured. So once again, if your body is topped up on this, your metabolism only needs to do little top-ups. If you're depleted now, how much of your metabolism's all day gonna be like, yo, shoot, there's nothing over here, there's nothing over there, there's nothing over there, there's nothing over there, there's nothing nowhere, all right? We're struggling in all areas for fluids right now, all right? Which means more stress on it, all right? Which means slowing down now, because now to finish its job, there's nothing there to finish the job. I gotta wait real quick. I gotta go search for this. This is all what's going on to what they'll say will slow down your metabolism. All right, so and this is the thing, our body, the metabolism as well, brings energy into our cells, all right? But if you don't have energy already, it can't give you extra energy, all right? It can't top you up and give you renewable energy, which heals you. Renewable energy brings healing, all right? It's just trying to top you up to give you energy to run the battery, to run you, all right? That can't help you heal, all right? For you to heal, everything needs to be okay. Now I got renewable energy that can renew and redo the cells and things of that nature. Now we could go into cell work and this work, because why? I don't need to top up all these areas no more. I can focus on renewing you, building you up. All right? This is what's supposed to happen. Where are we? What page are we on? I think 14.
Page 11.
Oh, page 11. Oh, sorry.
Continue.
Yeah, continue.
All right. This process works at different intensities in different people. How fast your metabolism works is determined mostly by your genes. Quote, people might have fast, slow, or average metabolism regardless of their body size and composition, unquote, says Dr. Chin Hao Lee, professor of genetics and complex diseases at Harvard's T.H. Chan School of Public Health. Age also affects metabolism, as it can slow over the years, even if you start out with a fast metabolism. Differences in metabolism speeds are evident in how easy or how hard it is for people to gain or lose weight. A slow metabolism burns fewer calories, which means most get stored as fat in the body. That's why some people have difficulty losing weight by just cutting calories. A fast metabolism burns calories at a quicker rate, which explains why some people can eat a lot and not gain extra pounds.
All right, so this is what it all goes down to. People are not gaining pounds. It's all based on the metabolism, on can it go and deal with everything it's getting in a quick enough pace. And if it's not getting enough, and we're gonna see what else is gonna need to do this, all right? Which is gonna need an adrenaline, all right, an adrenaline rush. All right, but once again, the differences in metabolism speed are evident in how easy or hard it is for people to gain or lose weight. All right. A slow metabolism burns fewer calories, which means more gets stored as fat in the body. All right. So it doesn't have time to do all of this. It's too much, therefore it's not enough. It's just like, okay, I got to get back to this later. So instead of getting back to this later, boom, the body just takes it, stores it as fat, places it somewhere, and expects you now to sweat it out, and that's how it'll get out. But I'm not doing nothing with it no more. It's too much load for me right now. All right. And now if you don't do nothing with it, then it's just staying there now. Now it happens again, it goes and does it again now. All right. And we have the continual process. All right. And then someone might have one that's fast, and now it's too fast, all right? Now it can't even do nothing. As soon as you get them, they can't even gain anything, all right? Which it needs to be balanced. All right, so continue for us. So someone who's really skinny and slim, they have a fast metabolism, which doesn't allow them to build up extra and build up fats and things of that nature. It's using too much. All right, continue.
But you can't entirely blame a sluggish metabolism for weight gain, says Dr. Lee. Quote, the reality is that metabolism often plays a minor role, unquote, he says. Quote, the greatest factors as you age are often poor diet and inactivity, unquote.
Right. It could only be poor diet and inactivity because once again, if we're not mobile, it's not using the stuff, it's just storing it now, all right? So whatever's there will be stored, the fat there will be stored, we're not moving enough, all right? Or it's a poor diet, meaning once the body can't use this foreign thing, it sends it and it turns whatever it is into fat, all right, majority of the times. If it's a liquid, it's going to turn it into a water-soluble, push it out by the liver to make sure that whatever that was, that thing that you took in that was toxic, it's going to turn it into a water-soluble that's not toxic, throw it into the liver by the kidneys, all right, and now you're going to pee it out. All right, so poor diet and inactivity is the major reason for a slow metabolism or a poor metabolism. All right, and this is what Adam seen and he had foresight for. All right, so what's the next way we can see, all right, and compare this to? So the church is outside. All right, many of the churches here, they're not what? They're not having a good diet or what? A steady diet of what? Good. What we do is we're going through, this is what we call whole foods, all right? Because we get a big meal for you, and we're just going to have to break this meal down, all right? What they're doing outside is giving people processed food. Processed food that we see by going into the body is where all this bad stuff comes, where it's like, oh, what is this? What's that? I don't know what that is, all right? And now that brings in the inability to have a proper metabolism, all right, which now brings in the extra weight gain, the different things, the health problems, and this is what's happening in the churches. All right, their poor diet and doctrine and inactivity, all right, is bringing about a slow metabolism, all right, which we can't tell because when you're looking at a church or whatever, you're just seeing the fatness of the church, right, and you're thinking that's good, right, because it's a church. You're like, oh, it's blessed. Look at it. It's beautiful. It's, everything's beautiful. All right. And we see that's the main thing in Revelation 18, the Most High was speaking about, the fatness of Babylon, how fat it was, living deliciously. All right. So we're going to continue. Rev up your engine.
Is it possible to speed up a naturally slow metabolism or rev up one that has become sluggish over time? You can manipulate your metabolism to a degree, says Dr. Lee. It is often a small change that may help you burn more calories. That, along with adopting a healthier diet and making sure you get enough exercise, may give people the extra push they need to lose and maintain weight. For example, pick up the pace. Add some high-intensity interval training to your regular routine.
All right, so the high-intensity training. So we see when people are trying to lose weight, they go into the high-intense, training. All right, because that was gonna what? That's gonna send a message to your body. You're using more. Speed up. Use the stuff that you haven't been using. All right, because if you have too much there and it's there now, your body's like, I can't use it. It's not moving around enough. He's not doing anything enough. All right, you speeding up now. It's like, oh shoot, it's depleted. Do it again. Send it again and again. And now it's going down and it's using the stuff. All right. Because your body's like, yo, it's going. See, fill it up, metabolize everything, metabolize, go, he's moving. All right? So continue.
After a period of interval training, your metabolism can stay revved up for as much as a full day.
All right, so a full day, go from you started in the morning, it's now boom, all day, it's going. Usually when you're doing that now, it's saying now you have to make sure what you're eating periodically now. That's what people don't understand yet. People that are doing that stuff now, they have a lot of like small meals through the day now because they're like, yo, I don't want my metabolism to slow down now that I have it running and going. Because if there's nothing there, it's gonna be like, oh, I can't do nothing, right? It's gonna slow down now until you get something. So it slows everything down. All right, so when people are losing weight and they're on a diet thing, they have a lot of small meals, which shows you how much we have to eat a day. Our body's expending a lot of energy. All right, but continue.
For example, when you're walking or jogging on a treadmill or outside, speed up for 30 to 60 seconds and then slow to your usual pace. Repeat the cycle for 8 to 12 minutes. Eat protein and do weight training. Your metabolism increases whenever you eat, digest, and store food, a process called thermic effect of food.
All right, so eat your essential amino acids so that your body can make its protein and you could do weight training. All right, your metabolism increases. This is when it increases. All right, whenever you eat, you digest it, the body store the food. That's a process called thermic effect of food. It has to go through that whole process. That whole process is called metabolism. All right, and it has to have everything it needs so that it goes through that efficiently. All right, so continue.
Protein has a higher thermic effect compared with fats and carbohydrates because it takes longer for your body to burn protein and absorb it.
All right, so proteins take longer. All right, it has a higher thermic effect. All right, compared as with fats and carbohydrates. So when you're gonna learn that your body, it loves fats and it loves carbohydrates. It takes, as soon as you put it in there, take that up, all right, and transfers that and takes that and puts that into energy. That's what comes if we're eating bad carbs now. It turns it immediately into sugar. Immediately, it is going to turn it into sugar because it breaks down carbs immediately, all right? And if it's one that it can't take, your body is not a fool. It's not fooled. We can't fool it. This is what I'm learning too. I'm like, damn, the body is not a fool, all right? We just thought it was. We're like, all right, I'll give it this bad thing and it'll accept it. It never accepts it. It never accepts it, okay? All it's gonna do is dash it to the side. That's all. Every single time it's gonna go and slap it, all right? Just to the side. Oh, that's the next thing. Slap it until you give it what it wants, all right? It cannot take a foreign thing and do nothing with it. All right, so it's just going to waste, and it's gonna look like you're eating well because it's gonna store it and it's gonna store it as fat. So you'll be like, oh, look at me. And no, it's just storing it as fat. It's saying, yo, what the heck is? Get that out of here. That's all the body is doing. All right, so continue.
It's not clear how much of an effect protein has on metabolism, but studies suggest the best approach is to combine adequate protein intake with weight training, which increases muscle mass. And that also can boost metabolism.
All right, so you're gonna want to make sure you're taking in, if you're building up your muscle and you're sending signal to your muscle to use and expend a lot, your metabolism of the muscles is growing. You're gonna need to make sure you're getting more amino acids, making sure that all your 8 essential amino acids is there because your body is requesting more because you're using a specific part of your body now. That specific part is getting more than the usual. So make sure you're taking it now. So if you're gonna go build muscle now, you have to make sure you're taking the stuff that build the muscle even more. Because every time you go like this, it's sending a signal to use more, use more, use more. If there's none there to use, slowly and slowly depletion will happen. All right, so continue.
EGCG is a unique plant compound that gets a lot of attention for its potential positive impact on health. It's thought to reduce inflammation, aid weight loss, and help prevent heart and brain disease. This article reviews EGCG, including its health benefits and possible side effects. What is EGCG? Formerly known as epigallocatechin gallate, EGCG is a type of plant-based compound called catechin. Catechins may be further categorized into a larger group of plant compounds known as polyphenols. EGCG and other related catechins act as potent antioxidants that may protect against cellular damage caused by free radicals.
All right, free radicals. All right, so this is like, okay, now your body now storing these things and placing them as fat. These things are now placed in there, and they like to change cell structure. So this thing now will make sure, okay, this little free radical who wanna, it's over here, and we trapped it over here, and it wants to do something and act out, cause cancer cell or whatever. We're gonna attack that little radical because we put him in the corner, and he's acting like a renegade. All right, so this helps to attack that. Continue.
Free radicals are highly reactive particles formed in your body that can damage your cells when their numbers get too high.
All right, so this is what happens, where a lot of cell damage happens because the fat that stored was something toxic, and now it's just sitting there. The more and more it gets now, that's where now it tries to change the cellular structure that's there. All right, which now for men and things of that nature takes away the muscle. It does different things, changes the cellular structure. Naturally, we're supposed to be like how Adam would have been. All right, what if the cellular structure is constantly changing from what we're obtaining because it's rejecting a lot of the times? Then we're going to see it slowly starting to get you call softer and softer. All right, now I have an example when I have a relative come from, and I had a cousin, he moved from Jamaica. He came and he said, "Oh, I touched him, it's a brick." Eat a couple things, couple months. Getting softer and softer and softer. All right, it's just natural. All right, we'll continue.
Eating foods high in antioxidants like catechins may help limit free radical damage. Additionally, research suggests that catechins like EGCG may reduce inflammation and prevent certain chronic conditions, including heart disease, diabetes, and some cancers. EGCG exists naturally in several plant-based foods, but is also available as a dietary supplement, usually sold in the form of an extract. Naturally found in various foods, EGCG is probably best known for its role as the major active compound in green tea. In fact, the numerous health benefits associated with drinking green tea are typically credited to its EGCG content. Though EGCG is predominantly found in green tea, it also exists in small amounts in other foods, such as, for tea here, green, white, oolong, and black teas, fruits, cranberries, strawberries, blackberries, kiwis, cherries, pears, peaches, apples, and avocados, nuts, pecans, pistachios, and hazelnuts, While EGCG is the most researched and potent catechin, other types like epatechin, epogallocatechin, and epactechin 3 gallate may offer similar benefits. Plus, many of them are more widely available in the food supply. Red wine, dark chocolate, legumes, and most fruit are a few examples of foods that offer a hefty dose of health-promoting catechins.
Stop there real quick, all right? So we're gonna stop it there. So we're gonna get into, when we get into more of the ECGC, that it runs your adrenaline up, so it helps your metabolism, all right? Because this thing right here is gonna speed up your adrenaline, which speeds up your metabolism, all right? Which speeds up the fat, all right, being burned, all right? To be able, because your body needs to burn the calories, and to be able to do this, the reason why people are doing the intervals is because it needs an adrenaline, it needs a boost, all right? So the ECGC is a substance that helps to give your body that boost naturally without you having to go and actually do this, all right? You taking this now will have your body now operating quicker and faster, all right? And this is why people did a lot of green tea diets, things of that nature, because they realized that, this speeds up my metabolism, it speeds up the burning of calories, because it gives me my body a little kick to where I don't need that adrenaline rush. All right, so if somebody's used to revving up their body every day, they don't need a lot to get their body going. If somebody doesn't, that's when they have to do the intervals and everything, because they have to get their body going because it's not used to get going. All right, so taking some ECGC, make sure that, okay, my exercise, I'm not doing that. I'm giving it a little extra of that. This is helping it make sure that it's continued going so that everything is burning and your metabolism is going quickly. All right. So with that being said, all right, went through a plethora. All right, we understood that Babylon, all right, the Catholic Church, the one that who should be teaching this stuff, all right, because there's anyone should be teaching law of nature and the understanding of this coming from Adam and the Bible and everything. They have all the records, they have everything. Clearly, they don't want to, all right, because the scriptures, we have to follow the scriptures, all right. They're giving what? False doctrine to everybody, all right. This is where it's coming from, all right. They're the one dealing with the sorcery, not teaching the people what Christ came to teach. This is what we're teaching. All we're doing is what they should be doing, all right. And we see that they're dealing with sorcery, which we went into the use of administering drugs and different things of that nature. We went into what a physician was, one who deals with natural science of the body. All right, we went into Adam, not used to eating earthly food, all right, having to eat a new way. And when he was doing that, he had the foreknowledge to know that this is going to take on new types of challenges, all right. My skin is going to get thick, which goes to fat. And we're seeing how it can do that, because every time that your body rejects something, and it turns it into fat. That's the easiest way to get. Next thing, his stomach and his body's going to be burdened. Burdened why? Because as soon as it ate that thing, and now it's constantly running. The metabolic system is constantly going everywhere in your body. Is constantly needs a re-up on a substance of some type of nature. Your liver constantly has to make sure it's monitoring every single level, producing that every single time it drops, give it some more. All right, Adam's seen all of this stuff. So it's important to know how our body runs, because as we see, deception comes when we don't know how our body runs. And if we're not able, and we went into it last week, if you don't have a good diet, you cannot have good education and a sound mind. All right, which if someone's trying to control you, the first thing to make sure is that you're not eating right. So you can't understand what's happening. All right, we may not understand, but they study these things and know that, oh, you might not think it's going to happen, but once we do this effect, you're not going to think right. Or even though you think you're thinking right. All right. And as we went through this, we started to look at the metabolic system. All right. As Adam got a new digestive system, how fast does his body expend his energy and digest this food and give his body what it needs? And this is called the metabolic system. And we've seen that if it's well nourished, you only need small top-ups. All right. If you don't have all these fluids and things running, which your liver produces to you, which we have to give it the 8 essential amino acids, all right, 8 for the number of the Most High, infinity, all right. If you don't give it that, then it's gonna need constantly more and more and more and more and more. And when it can't do something, it can't do a workload, it does what you would do, all right. Oh, I can't use it. Guess what? Put it down. I can't do nothing. All right. It just piles up. The workload piles up and piles up and piles up and piles up. All right, and this is what happens. All right, so we have to make sure that our body is getting all the things it needs so that the system can be running fluently and having a flow. All right, Adam was heavy of his stomach, having a heaviness. All right, when he went to sleep, and we equated that with eating too much. All right, eating too fast, eating too quickly, eating too often. We went into protein. We seen that the liver makes all the protein that you need. What the liver needs is 21 amino acids to make the protein. 8 of those are essential that your body does not synthesize on its own. Your body makes its own protein. This is what we learned today. Your body makes its own protein. You don't need to eat one particular thing to get protein. Your body makes protein. Millions of protein cells it goes through a day, it told us. Your body needs 8 essential amino acids so that it can have the full 21 amino acids, which will synthesize and turn into proteins that your body needs. Your liver makes all those fluids that it needs. All right, we went into that. We went into the essential amino acids, all right? The types of food we told people to go look up. You need to make sure that you're getting it. They show that rice, beans, these things, we're gonna make sure they have the essential amino acids in there. All right, we went into protein synthesis, all right, showing us that, the liver, once again, the most important organ is the thing that's making all the proteins, transforming millions of proteins going through it. So who told us that what? We need flesh for protein. This is the lie. Go ask somebody right now. Where are you getting your protein? Where are you getting? Well, ask them, first of all, how much protein is there? And they ain't gonna tell you protein is protein. All right, we know that that's a lie today. Your body makes protein, all right, and it metabolizes this protein. All right, we went into the different types of things that your body uses as well, the albumin, the iron, and how the proteins help them go around, all right, and metabolize, all right. The proteins help these things operate in the body and go to places. The protein acts as a security guard when something is dangerous and it needs to go certain areas of your body. A protein will escort that there and make sure everything is all right. All right, that's why they call it important proteins. All right, we went into metabolism, which just means changing. All right, your body taking that load and changing it into all the things it needs, and how fast it does that and finishes everything and is ready for the next task. That is the metabolic system. All right, and we went and showed how this relates to the body in Christ. That if the church, all right, is not what? It's not eating correctly, eating the right things, having a good diet, all right? Its body will naturally deny whatever it is. So Christ will deny that. He's like, what's that? Get that out of here, all right? All you're going to get is what? Stored up fat. So that means what? We're going to have fat churches, all right? Which are just sitting on the stuff, all right? Sitting on what? Sitting on the riches. Why? Because they're supposed to get the stuff, get the doctrine, metabolize it, get it out to the people, get everything. Guess what's happening? Nothing's happening in the body. None of the body parts is synthesizing anything. So what happens? It gets fat, all right? It gets stored up, all right? Why is it doing that? The Most High showing this through nature, because they're not what? Metabolizing. Their church isn't doing what it's supposed to be doing. The body parts aren't running the things through. The person who gets the information is not running it down to that person. That person who deals with the poor person not going over there. These things aren't happening, so the body what? Slows down, which is called a metabolic system, which we have to make sure our bodies is not doing that our bodies constantly has what it needs, that when we give our body a load, the body parts are not what? Lazy. That means what we can't have. We can't have lazy members, all right? Can't have lazy members. Lazy members mean what? Lazy metabolic system. That's what it all translates to, all right? So you have to have members, body parts that's operating, functioning right, getting all the things it needs. So not only the body member could be there, but the member needs to have what? It needs to have what it needs to do whatever. Because if it doesn't, it's going to be like what? What do we learn the body does? Oh, I can't do nothing? Get that out of here. All right? Can't do anything with that. It's just going to stop doing what it's doing. Right? It can't do anything. All right? So that's what someone's going to do. Oh, the person gave me this. He told me to do this. I can't do that. All right? There's nothing for me to do. All right? Nothing for it to do. They can't do their job, and they're just going to sit there and everything just piles up. We're seeing that the body does this. This is what the body does, all right? And to make sure our body's operating right, main thing it said that we need to have is a good diet, all right? Because a good diet will ensure that it doesn't run into no problems. Everything is running right. Everything is good. Top up, top up, top up, top up, top up, top up. Let's roll again. Bad diet up, can't top up, this can't do that, everything's slowing down, up, I'm waiting for you to bring something down, nothing's bringing on down, everything's waiting now, things are slowing down, all right? This is called the metabolic system. And we see how it equates to the body in Christ, and how we can have deception and things going outside, because we have churches with slow metabolic system and a poor diet, all right? So with that being said, we're gonna go to Philippines 4:8.
It's the book of Philippians chapter 4, starting at the 8th verse. Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue and if there be any praise, think on these things. Those things which ye have both learned and received and heard and seen in me, do, and the God of peace shall be with you.
All right, so we went into the day. We've seen what? We've seen that protein, all right? You don't need to go eat animal for protein. Protein is made by your body. Make sure it's getting its 8 amino acids. Everything will be all right. And as we go through it, we'll see what the body doesn't give you. The body gives you everything. We're going to go into what the body doesn't supply you. These things is what you need to make sure is in your diet, all right? And we have them all. So with that being said, we want to say all praises be unto the Most High, Almighty, High Yeshua Christ, our Lord and Savior. All right. This is the Essing Community Church of Christ. I'm Archbishop Shamar.
And I'm Bishop Barak.
This is the Essing Community Church of Christ. Once again, enjoy the rest of your Sabbath. Enjoy the Lord's Day tomorrow. All right, as we Christians celebrate 2 days, not just one. All right, it's the 2-day weekend. All right, Christians, that belongs to us. All right, the Sabbath and the Lord's Day. So with that being said, enjoy.